Hello. Welcome to the channel. So, in spite of COVID-19, it's business as usual at the Singapore campus of James Cook University, with some tweaks. Hello, my name is Kenneth, and as we all know, the DORSCON code was raised to orange on the 7th of February in Singapore, and more recently, on the 11th of March, the WHO declared that COVID-19 is a pandemic. So I think it's timely to take some time to share with you the ways that JCU is coping with the pandemic. So let's start off with the backstory. When the DORSCON alert status was first raised to orange, a task force was set up in the university. It comprises of senior management and representatives from various departments, and they meet weekly to review the situation before making any decisions. So one of the very first things that happened was temperature checks. So what this task force actually did was one of the first things they did was to activate staff and set up a system which limited entry into the campus. So I remember when this first happened, they actually shut down all the gates and only allowed entry to the university using the front gate. So there's only a single point of entry. And at this one single point of entry, they made temperature checks mandatory. But of course, since then we've tried to make things a little bit more efficient, especially since we've started the new trimester on the 16th of March yesterday. We actually have thermal scanners on the campus to speed things up. So students, when they come to the campus, it's not we don't have to activate a lot of staff and then stand by just to do temperature taking. It kind of speeds things up with this thermal scanner. And I saw it being tested. So when someone with a high temperature actually walks past, it sets off an alarm, and then you can see the screen turning red. So it's actually quite cool over there. So beyond temperature checks, what we actually have done is we started testing our online learning capabilities. So we're testing these capabilities now, and how it's being done is maybe a bit of backstory. Prior to this pandemic, some of the modules in the campus were already taught using blended modes. Okay, but what's so different now is that the university is doing a full rollout, except for the postgraduate psychology program, the Masters of Clinical Psychology and the Masters of Guidance and Counseling. So there will be a full rollout except for those two courses during the first 4 weeks of school to iron out the kinks should the situation worsen. So we're actually testing the capabilities now when it's still not exactly necessary. So we are preparing ourselves for the worst case scenario kind of situation. But because this is really just testing, students will still have access to the campus and can use the facilities. It's just that lessons will be done online for this period. It's also really to help get students used to the online system. So we don't want a case where it becomes mandatory where schools are shut down, like in Malaysia, which was announced last night at around 11 o'clock. Even the universities are shutting down. Can you imagine if it's the first time for students to actually do this online learning mode? They have no idea how to do it, and becomes even harder because the help that they need to get will be all done remotely as well. At least now they have the option to still come to the university campus, log on to their lectures, and if there are still issues, they can still come and meet us on the campus. But of course, our blended learning and the online learning is not it's not so simple as just filming lectures, pre-recorded lectures, and posting them online. So if you'd like to find out more about our pedagogical approach to this, you might want to check out this story in the Straits Times. Let's just bring it up. So there's actually a story about on the Straits Times where our learning technologist, Miss Esther Fink, shares a little bit more about the pedagogical considerations and how the different departments in the university come together to make this happen. So interesting stuff. Right. So moving beyond things that really affect students, from the perspective of staff, there are some things, but there are some measures in place too from the JCU management. So I believe it was today, JCU's management also decided that, or was it yesterday? Yeah, JCU's management also decided that the marketing team in the university will defer all overseas travel until further notice. This is in response to the latest travel advisory by the Singapore government. Was initially released yesterday. So if you heard that there have been huge spikes in our nearby countries and in Europe, so there are not a little, but quite a lot more cases, and a few more countries that have been added to the list. So countries like Italy, Spain, I believe even Germany is included in the list now of countries that if you travel to, you have to go on a stay home notice when you come back. So to protect the safety of all staff and the health and ensure the health of all staff, the university now has deferred. There's a deferment of travel for all marketing teams, so there will be no traveling. Fortunately, I think we still have some colleagues abroad, but they should be on the stay home notice once they return. So out of the office for 2 weeks, which might be quite tough. So lastly, there has been an emergency communication channel set up. So this emergency communication channel has been set up on the Telegram platform. Its purpose is to provide timely updates from a credible source, the JCU management, about the COVID-19 situation. So this is valuable for us as staff because it becomes a single point of a single source of information from the management to keep us updated. So we are preparing in the event of there's let's say touch wood, there's touch wood, there's a case on campus. So we found a case because yesterday was quite scary. We had announcements from SMU. So SMU had a confirmed case by, I believe it was a Spanish student, exchange student, and the dean of the graduate business school at INSEAD was a confirmed case as well. And SUSS actually sent out a circular to all students, saying that one of their part-time students actually is a confirmed case. So this emergency communication channel on Telegram will be a very great source of information in the event that a case is found on campus. So updates can be done regularly. People can start moving around to other offices or other locations, or if they are on remote work, they can be notified not to come back to work the next day. So things like that. So communication is important. So these are the four main measures that have been implemented, and it's how JCU is actually coping with the pandemic situation at the moment. Of course, I'm assuming that with the new developments that's probably going to occur, new measures might be implemented, but we won't speculate for now. We'll just wait and see. More updates to come, so stay tuned. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Remember to like and subscribe. I produce videos on the Singapore campus of James Cook University, things like cutoff points and behind the scenes things on how you actually get more information about enrolling the programs. I also run videos on the private education industry in general. So if you're keen on that, remember to subscribe. Thanks.